How do you balance the personal work though? Because your personal work, it looks so good.
Being in New York, I head into work extra early and I walk the city before I even walk through the doors. And I have a daily carry on me. I carry a camera everywhere I go. That gets my day started. I do the same thing afterwards, but I walk the extra few miles to a farther stop. Even though it takes longer to get home, you never know what moment you're going to see. So
Dude, that is beautiful, man. That is absolutely wonderful. What time in the morning are you starting your walk? Not that I'm trying to get you mugged.
No, no. No, yeah.
What kind of camera you got on?
Yeah, right, right.
Hello, and welcome to the Photosophic podcast. In this episode, I'm speaking with Anthony Ieradi. Anthony and I worked together on a campaign over a year ago down in San Diego where he was the DP. But since then, he has moved to New York City and is shooting almost exclusively film, still photography on film. And I thought that transition in that direction was really interesting. You don't really hear about that all that much. As well as he's also working with an agency. He's still very much involved in video production. But he's a really interesting guy. I love the track that his career is taking and the discipline that he has and his approach to it. And I've always enjoyed conversations with him. And I thought maybe sharing some of those conversations with you would be really insightful and could help out other people with their careers and whatnot. Just a quick note, this is the first episode. I wanted to start this podcast because I think a lot of people getting into this profession are a little lost. And some professionals who've been doing it for a long time have navigated all different types of landscapes as this business has changed. And I think they could benefit from a really honest conversation. As well as I believe a lot of brands or anybody who works with or hires photographers, especially if you're an internal creative managing studios or you're doing a lot of on-location shoots for your marketing content, this podcast is going to be of big benefit to you too. Not only how to get the most out of your brand visuals, but how to get the most return on your creative investment. Yeah, so this is the first episode, my conversation with Anthony Ieradi. So one of the things I've been trying not to ask you, I mean, we've had a couple conversations on the phone, but when I met you, you were DP, camera operator. I never know what to call videographers anymore, to be really honest. There's like 6 different titles. And if you get it wrong, you've insulted somebody.
No. It's hard to great. Yes. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
I was either.
Anyways, so you were video and you did great. You were like the perfect blend of like loose and flexible and just kind of want to have a successful, was it a 2-day, 3-day shoot or something like that?
I think it was 2 days. It was 2 days. Yeah.
It was 2 days for a golf brand.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you were young, hungry, and talented. You were super flexible, but you also cared. Like you also knew how to like set boundaries, which is something it took me a long time to learn in my career to there's a certain bubble that I have to, not a physical bubble, but maybe even that of like, I need to take ownership. You know what I mean? And you were awesome. Yeah. I loved chatting with you. It was great to work with. But now it seems like you're much more still photography focused. Am I wrong about that?
No, that's true. It started with photography for me when I was younger. That was like the thing that I got cameras from my grandfather, like my great uncle. They were photographers. They they had dark rooms in their basements and stuff like that. Like they were into it. So I got the hand-me-down Canon AE1 and me and my friend, that was like the start for me. And then I switched into, video. So it was like, I've always had this organic like shift into the other thing. But I think I've finally found comfort in the still photography. I'm like, I think I'm here to stay for a little bit.
I really like hearing that. I don't know what it is. And I wish I had your background. Like what I know of video is the skill set. There's a lot of overlap, but there's a lot that doesn't overlap. I wonder if at some point you're going to feel like the two are kind of the same thing, or maybe you already do.
That's
Technically, they're different animals, but
they are.
But when you're looking to capture whatever it is you're looking to capture, I wonder if it's just like whatever, it's just the tool or the medium that I choose. I don't know. How do you feel about it?
Yeah. I mean, I tend to grab inspiration itself from multiple mediums into photography. Like, so I already see like the bridging the gap in between. That, but they are very similar. Have you ever done or tried?
Oh yeah, I've done plenty of video, and I've done enough to be like, this is better in the hands of a specialist. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm better if I don't. Anytime I've done video, I've had to do both. It's like, okay, we'll spend the first day on stills, and then at sundown, I'll grab my rig, and then we'll shoot some stuff. And it's all kind of, if I'm honest, it's all just kind of glorified B-roll for Instagram stories. It's like nothing. It's nothing too crazy.
No, but that's it's the gig. It's the
You said you had your grandfather's Canon AE1.
Yes,
still have it.
I do.
Awesome.
I do still have it. It's here with me. It's in a Pelican right now, but it's
that's cool.
Such a good.
I still have mine. I have an AE1. I got when I was 16. My mom's coworker gave it to me, same lens on it and everything. It's been through hell. It's had ocean water on it. I've had to get it cleaned and repaired a bunch of times. But my cousin got married last weekend. I took it to the wedding. I wasn't the photographer, obviously, but I was just shooting some fun shots. I got the film back yesterday, the scans. I'm like, it's banging.
Those things they're beasts. They're such good cameras. I think they were the 1980s Olympics camera.
Yeah.
Like that's what they used. That was everyone was using them. But kind of going back to our shoot, actually, something I loved that you did, and I clocked it right away, was that you brought a film camera on set, or two film cameras, and you gave it to the client in some moments to take photos. And I thought, like, what an amazing way to just like get them in on the action. Because, a lot of the times the clients don't really know what goes into the production, anything. It's more so like, make this happen, which is not their fault. They don't know. But what you did was you were like, here, this tangible thing, do this with me. Yeah. And it just brings them in a totally different way.
I forgot I did that. I think that was the first. Thank you for remembering that.
Oh my God.
Thank you for that. I think that was the first time I was like, should I bring this? So let me tell you the impetus to that.
Okay.
I work with a lot of small and medium-sized brands. That brand in particular, Mira, the golf brand. They're like medium to large brand. They're really well known in the golf world. I don't golf. This was their first real photo shoot. That's the best way I can say it. Like, they've done stuff before. They were working with an agency out in New York for their P2P stuff, and they were doing like some life. You can tell that their lifestyle stuff was like, it was the same crew that was shooting in the studio, and then they grabbed a camera, went outside for like a few hours, which there's nothing wrong with that. I've been that guy before. Anyways, this was their first real shoot. I got the perfect producer for it, Alistair. Shout out to Alistair Windler. Like, he was wonderful. I had a call with Alistair, and I was like, hey, like, I'm really kind of focused on client experience here. This isn't just about the assets, which that's the priority, like the photography and the video, like that's important. That's what they're paying for. But they were already a little tepid once they saw how the budget for, basically, it was a 2-day shoot with travel, hotel, and all that other stuff. And they were like, whoa. It was a lot of I pride myself on client education and client experience. But anyways, with that, I was like, okay, I need to make sure, like, photo shoots, you can work hard, but you can also have a good time when you do it.
Totally.
Right? And so I was like, I should bring something. One, I just want to include more film regardless in what I do. Mm-hmm. But this could be fun. This could be fun for them too. And I did. I handed it to, I think her name was Emily. I handed her the camera. I was like, it's dialed in. Go have fun. And I sent her the images afterwards, and she loved them. It was like it's just a little gift. And that's one thing that, like, and I could only do that because we had a producer on set.
since we had a producer and I didn't have to worry about anything, Al's just amazing. I got to focus on like, okay, what am I going to do here? And they talk about this in athletics. Like, what's the one extra thing you're going to do? You know what I mean? Like, what's the little bit more? You know, they're always going to remember that photo shoot. Always. It was a good photo shoot. It was hard. But you're with an agency now out in New York.
I am. Yeah. Yeah. And we're like a social media ad agency. And it's great. Yeah. I'm an associate producer for them. And I love it.
That position, how old are you?
I'm 28.
It is the perfect job for how old you are and where you are. I know it probably doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
But I wish I was a PA. I didn't assist long. That was the one mistake I made. I'm coming up with like 100 lists of mistakes I've made in my career so I can teach people. One of them for sure, I don't know where it falls from 1 to 100, but I didn't assist long enough. And once I kind of learned a lot, I mean, at some point it's going to be on the job training. But I was a PA once for this really cool shoot. And I was like, and I was filling in for somebody who couldn't. I literally got a phone call the night before. And they're like, we need a PA. I know you don't assist anymore, but the shoot it was in San Francisco. It was like down the street. Like they just need somebody who knows the city. I was like, sure, no problem. And it was the first time I ever PA'd on a real production. I was like, this is what I should have been doing in my 20s. This right here. It's a hard job, but you learn a lot. You get so much visibility. But anyway, so it may not feel like it, but you're doing everything right, man. Being a PA.
Thank you. Yeah.
How do you balance the personal work though? Because your personal work it looks so good, and it looks like. How do you balance? How do you do the balance, man?
Oh, to be honest, I don't even know. What's nice about this gig is that it's more corporate hours. It's more like a 9 to 5, which is so convenient. Not all of producing jobs are like that. Not all agencies are like that. It's just, it's, I think that's what helps. So, being in New York, I head into work extra early and I walk the city before I even walk through the doors. And I have a daily carry on me. I carry a camera everywhere I go. So that gets my day started. I just wake up, coffee, walk. And then I do the same thing afterwards. My subway stop to get to work is very close to the office, but I walk the extra few miles to a farther stop. Even though it takes longer to get home, you never know what moment you're going to see. So
dude, that is beautiful, man. That is absolutely wonderful. What time in the morning are you starting your walk? Not that I'm trying to get you mugged.
No. Yeah.
What kind of camera you got on?
Yeah, right. Oh man. Yeah. I get up at 6 a.m. and I'm a very quick get up, get ready, eat something really fast. And I'm usually out and about by 7:30. That gives me some time. Don't have to be in sometimes until 9:30.
Yeah.
So
dude, the city's a little quiet. It's
cool,
it's waking up.
And get other people too, like on their way to start their day. It's fascinating.
Yeah, you can make a strong case for photography being a discipline more than an art, especially like the street style photography. Like I had thought about this a long time ago, and there's a zen kind of weird like thing about street style photography or just photography in general. Like you kind of have to click into a certain frequency of your surroundings. You almost have to commune with it. But that's cool, man. That's beautiful. You ever run into any other photographers doing the same thing?
Oh, all the time. It's so cool. And it's cool.
We're everywhere.
The community is huge.
Oh, good.
It is so true. It's and everyone's so kind and willing to chat with you. Yeah. Like, it's and like hang out, get coffee with you. It's just like,
really,
you can't ask for a better. It's crazy because it's such a competitive field.
So what you just described is totally, I think it's new to your generation.
Yeah.
Photographers, my generation and older, and I don't know what generation's that. I don't even know what generation I am. I'm 44 years old. Whatever generation I am, we do not share shit. We don't we were a close off, don't ask. Like I remember
Yeah.
in San Francisco, there was a French cafe across the street from my studio. And like graphic designers had a meetup, a bunch of writers got together, and I would see them there all the time. And I'm like, photographers would never do this. They would never, ever do this. But I can't say that anymore because you guys are a little more like open. Which is actually, I think, is kind of a necessity because there are so many shooters getting into this as a career now. There's just not enough people to teach you everything. You know what I mean? And so you have to learn from each other, and obviously YouTube and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it also helps how large social media is now. How much access you have to connecting with people is much larger now than it was. It didn't exist at a time. So it's definitely, I mean, of course, you still have the gatekeeping. That's never going to go away. The people who want to withhold the information, but you'd be surprised at going up to somebody and just saying, hey, I like your camera, and just where that can take you.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I would say, okay, I'm not pro gatekeeping.
Yeah.
But when somebody whom I just met, and I'm not going to name names because this person's like a really good friend of mine now.
Yeah.
But he's a photographer. And like within the first conversation I ever had with him he was like, how'd you get that client? How much are you charging?
Oh, well,
like this, that, whatever. I'm like, dude, I don't know you. Like, I kind of just deflected politely, and I was like, I'm not talking about this, So I'm just saying that, like, not if anybody listening to this, like, pepper in the gatekeeping, like, be protective to a point,
Totally.
Because I like sharing. I mean, I'll tell you whatever you want to know. Like, I just think you have a good heart and the right head on your shoulders.
Thank you.
I will say, so this kind of goes back to another mistake. Well, I already mentioned it, but like, I feel like I should have assisted for longer.
Mm-hmm.
I should have been pickier about whom I assisted for, is probably the right way to say that. I wish I would have found the right individual and stuck with him for a couple years. I assisted like 3 or 4 different people and then some random like gigs here and there. But I don't know if you have the bandwidth, but I would love for you to find somebody in your area, like let them know who you are. I mean, the fact that you're like, hey, my day job is with this agency, like, I bet photographers be like, whoa, hey, Anthony, why don't you come over here, man? Hey, what's up?
Yeah. The amount of emails we get, the amount of packages we get with people's like portfolios, it's a thing.
Oh, so what's that like? Tell me, what's that like on your end when you get something like that?
I mean, it's really cool. I mean, we're definitely like, it's tough to be like, oh, we're not hiring. We're not, we have our people and if they're ever out or, they're off on an offsite shoot and we're also having in studio shoots, like, yeah, sure, we'll bring people in, but it's fascinating and cool to see people's work that way. And to, it's so professional. It's nicely packaged. It's like, we got one recently.
Yeah.
It was so.
All right. Be real.
Cool.
Be real though. How many end up in the trash? Percentage. If you get a percentage wise, just be honest. 98%.
Well, I would say it's a very high percentage, which is a shame. Now,
it's marketing. Marketing is kind of a numbers game.
It is. It truly is. And how we find our people, it's friends of friends.
Yeah,
it's people that we know because the studio team that I work with.
Mm-hmm. You guys know everybody you would need to know.
Yeah, pretty much. We have which is a bummer, because we want to give obviously people
it's
chances,
fine, but it's totally fine. And unfortunately, I hope somebody can hear this. And so that's the fact that you've been on that end, because one day, the next chapter of your career, Anthony, you may be totally solo and on your own, and you're going to have to do stuff like that. You're going to have to market yourself, send out what they call hero packages, hero pieces, whatever they call them. And you're going to spend a bunch of money and you may not hear anything back. And this is how it goes. But now you know what it's like on that end. So that'll help inform you about your own marketing materials. But yeah, so it's very frustrating that as a freelance photographer or freelance artist working in the commercial landscape, I mean, when it comes to marketing, you got to do everything. You just, that's one thing I learned. A photographer up in Portland, his name's Sheldon. He told me that. He's like, this is how you think of marketing. You just have to do all of it. And Don't focus on one thing and don't expect anything to come of it. So it's really frustrating. You put all this effort into marketing yourself, but I would say 90% of my jobs, of my gigs, are referrals, a consultant I worked with or somebody, and that's fine. So it works on both ends, it's totally fine.
And, that was the same for me with my assisting when I was someone needed an assistant to do something. And one of my great friends, Audrey, she has hooked me up with so many great, I can't do this, but my friend Anthony can. And that's how I got most of my, shout out to Audrey. Oh my God, she's the best.
Good job, Audrey.
So yeah.
If you only read one marketing book, it should be On Marketing by Seth Godin. Godin. I don't know. That's how you pronounce his name. He's a wonderful blog, just amazing book, great speaker. But he calls those individuals super fans. Like every coffee shop has its regulars that come in every day, and they bring their friends, they bring their family. Like beer companies, alcoholic companies, 85% of their sales go to the same 10% of people.
Huh. Yeah. I mean that they got their, yeah.
So you have your, those are called alcoholics, but so those people have problems.
Yeah. Oh no.
But that's just an example.
Right.
Every business, especially if you're freelancer, you have super fans. And so once I learned that, I was like, okay, well, who are my super fans? Right. Audrey's your super fan. I probably have 3 or 4 people who love me. They love what I do. But some of them are clients and some of them are kind of either art directors or something. And so when you kind of prioritize those individuals in your career, it sounds kind of, it sounds disingenuous to say include those individuals in your marketing. But the truth is I interact with them more than I interact with a total stranger online. I just check in, how you doing, comment on their stuff, how are the kids, I get Christmas cards, all that. So that's one piece of advice. As if you do go solo and you do your own thing, Audrey's super fan, who else you got? Let's make some more super fans. You know what I mean?
Right.
And those are your career for the most part.
No, that's true. You work with the people that you like, and it's just, no.
And I'm honest. I used to do this lecture at San Francisco State to the graduating class, and I would tell them I'm not the best photographer in this room. I guarantee it. But I'll get more business than you. I will make more money than you because, one, I'm ultra reliable. Nobody ever questions if I'm going to show up. I'm going to be well rested, and I'm easy to work with. I don't just say yes. I've actually learning to say no is a big thing. But if you're reliable and people like working with you, that will beat anybody's portfolio, 10 out of 10 times.
100%. I cannot agree with that. I cannot agree with that more.
I want to switch gears.
Let's do it.
Because you do something really interesting on Instagram. You put concepts up in your highlights.
Oh, yeah.
To book sessions. I saw you did that a while ago.
Yeah.
And dude, first of all, I think it's genius.
Oh, wow.
So explain the idea. Explain what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So I, like I said, kind of before, I get a lot of my inspiration from all different types of mediums. I don't know. I would get images in my head and I was like, ooh, this would be a sick vibe for a photo shoot. But how do I show that to everyone else? How do I entice people to do this with me? So I went on Pinterest and I grabbed just, I would type in nothing specific, just a certain vibe or something like that. And I would make a collage, would think about the space that I needed, whether that would cost money or not, and put that into the price and just see if people wanted it. And it kind of got, I got a few people that were interested in that sort of thing. So I'm going to keep doing that. I saw someone else do, not necessarily, I don't remember if it was a mood board or just a single photo that they used for if you want to do something like this, hit me up, or, it was something more like that. But I like the idea of the full mood board, the collage, trying to tell a story in some way that they might not even understand, but I get. And you can use that to really tell them the story. that gives you something to talk about, and try to convey the story to them.
So you come with a concept, you put it in your highlight reels or what do you want to call them, and then people can book you for that concept.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Yep. They're they can message me directly.
How much? What's kind of the range?
Price wise, or
yeah. Like,
I think the most I mean, it's not.
Well, what do you? It's not how much you got, but how much are you asking? Typically, like, what's your typical?
It was more like $275, $350. It wasn't a lot.
I think that's brilliant. I think it's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, thank you.
You're inverting the process, or maybe you're actually like, maybe you're not even inverting it. I have this sneaky suspicion that in the days of Richard Avedon, the way the business worked was like, hey, I'm a photographer. I'm really good. I'm going to go do this. Pay me, and I'll do it for you instead. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's brilliant. So you've had a little bit of traction with it.
Yeah, a little bit. I got to do a few, and I decided I did a giveaway photo shoot that will be one of the concepts that I was like, no, actually, this would be cool to give away to somebody, because it wasn't gonna, really cost me much. It was stuff that I had, just the way it was built out. So I was like, wasn't like any loss, because I got followers from it. I got people, I got comments from it. I got people to go to my page. Like, I think it was like 4,000 people came to my page, and just from a giveaway, that didn't really cost me anything. It was just like it was pretty sick.
I just think it's brilliant. Where'd you get that idea? You just had it.
I was just like, I want more traction. The whole marketing thing, trying to get myself out there.
One reason I think it's brilliant is because there's a bunch of, I can feel my career and my approach to photography and my art. I can feel it rotating in a different direction. I don't know exactly where. Sometimes you're on a plane and you just feel like, oh, we're kind of leaning to the right, like, whatever. I kind of feel like moving that way. And for my whole career, it's kind of what we talked about already. It was like, there's the work that pays the bills, and that is supposed to fund and give me the freedom to go and do the art that I want to do. But as you get older and your bills are more, you have different life expectations and different bills and expenses that go along with it, you have to work more. And you have to level up as an artist in your career yourself. So, but my point is, though, is that like, as this kind of evolves, as your career evolves, the personal side always gets like the short end of the stick. Like, it just keeps getting compromised. Like, oh, I'll do this next week. I'll do that later. Even this podcast, we kicked it back like twice. You know what I mean? Like, I can't. Life happens, man. And I have come to a realization, and maybe you are different. Sorry, this cat's just gonna. She's back. I don't understand. My other cat just knew not to touch a keyboard, and this one's like
loves tap it away.
But anyways, it sounds like you're different, but I'm just not the guy who can do both, or at least be able to put the same energy and focus to both sides. To be the guy I need to be to my clients, I need to be able to recharge, and I'm not necessarily I don't have a lot of time, unfortunately, for personal. So, but what I love, but I'm like, it should be the opposite. I've just admitted I'm not going to be that guy. So I need to figure out how to do the art and get paid just for that, which, if I'm honest, that's what all the teachers told us in college. Like, don't chase the invoice, be the artist and it will come to you. And they were right. And I was wrong. I am so sorry.
Apologies to the No, but yeah, and it's hard to do that. It is so hard to do that, because you have to know your worth. You still have to know your worth, but also it's like doing it because it feels good, and it's a tough balance.
This sounds like kind of salesy and cheesy or cynical or something, but like your artwork is really good marketing material. Like, it is. The stuff that you put yourself into and your vision into, it's like, hey, I'm proud of this. I don't care what you think. This is awesome. And somebody else who's into this, they're going to be into me, and I'm going to be into them. And so,
right. Right. Put it out there. It's
yeah,
true.
I work with this. I can't name names. I work with this digital tech who also digital techs on Apple's executive portraits, right? They fly in this photographer. I think the photographer's from LA. They fly in this photographer and he shoots these executive portraits. You can go online and go to Apple's and look at Tim Cook's headshot. They're portraits. There's solid color background. They're obviously really well done because Apple's not going to hire just anybody. But he told me that he's like, go look at that guy's site, go look at his portfolio, and his portfolio, the work that he has on his website, isn't a bunch of portraits and headshots. It's like art. It's like edgy, kind of R-rated, a lot of skin, like really out there. Not really out there, but like, yeah, like it's out. Some of it's kind of dark. Some of it's kind of fantasy. It's beautiful. It's all gorgeous. And this digital tech said, people want to hire an artist. People like Apple, they want to hire artists. They don't want to hire somebody who's pretending to be a company. Yeah. And he was giving me, he's actually always giving me really good advice. Because I was trying to brand myself as a company. Like I have a friend of mine who's in marketing, and he's like a one-man agency, and he's like, you should position yourself like that. And that was wrong. That was super wrong. Push your art to the front of the line, which you're already doing.
Yeah. Then do you find yourself now, trying to do it like that? Yeah. To try to.
Yes. Collaborating is the hard part. Collaborating is like trying to get people together and whatnot. Do you have like go-to people that you like to reach out to?
One of my roommates, Alex, I love shooting with him. He's a theater artist, and just all around such a great dude, and always down to just do whatever.
And like he'll do whatever in front of the camera.
Well, yeah, yeah. We just like to we get in front. We were like, okay, let's try this out. Yeah. He's so willing to play, to just try things, and he's super cool. He's very talented. Really great with puppetry and stuff too. So we incorporate that. It's just like he's probably my go-to for testing things out. I'm just like, Alex, do you have a second? I really want to test this out. And we just set up a couple things and we just do
awesome.
It. So dude, it's convenient that we live together. So
that's so cool. You, Anthony, I've said it already once. You're doing everything right.
Oh man.
Just be patient with yourself.
Okay.
You're doing, this is awesome.
Oh man, thank you.
So when you've been hired by individuals to shoot,
mm-hmm.
How do you go about pricing yourself?
So that's I offer different packages and stuff like that. None of them personally, I don't think they are. I think they are way less than I should have them.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a struggle.
I don't know what your numbers are, but I can tell you're not charging enough.
Not good. Yeah, not good. It's the struggle of knowing, I am good at this and I like doing it and I'm very passionate about it and I put everything into it when I do it. But it's also like, but I want people, it's a tough time for everybody right now. I want people to book. So but I know that that's not good.
But you're definitely you're not alone. Two, I don't care how seasoned of a veteran you are in this, you still struggle with it.
Yeah.
The first number I put out to clients is never the number we land on. It's always a little less, which is fine. I had lunch with another photographer yesterday named Jacob Elliott. He shoots like ultra luxury architecture and interior homes. And he does very well for himself. And he says, I've never sent an invoice off and thought that I charged enough. Which actually I think it's kind of a good thing. I was like, that's good. That means you're kind of over delivering. Like you're putting more work in there within what you're being paid to, which is a really good ethos and what everyone should do. But I kind of understand where he come from. I think there's a subtext to that of like, just do your best, just ask like that. That's probably the number one thing I struggled with the most in my career was pricing and not selling myself short. because it's easy to find a price that they like. That's the easy part. No problem. But being able to say, look, I can't do it for that much. I can refer you to somebody more junior than me, which is you. I mean, I've used that language verbatim in emails and on calls, and that works 100% of the time. And it's just like this. I mean, another line I learned recently was, I'm not competing against people half my price. I'm competing against people twice as much as me, which is also true. But they don't see that, especially when you're somebody like me who, I work with like kind of like smaller, medium-sized brands a lot, which is intentional. I still, there's a couple like well-known clients that I shoot for, or brands that I shoot for. But anyways, I do a lot of client education is my point. And I like doing it, but a lot of times this is their first time working with somebody like me. This is, if I bring a producer on, it's probably the first time they've hired a producer.
Yeah.
It's easy for somebody like me and older photographers to scream about this online, like, younger generation, you're undercutting us and you should be charging more, which is all true.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's easy to shout that from the sidelines. The truth is we've all done it. We've all been there in our careers. We've all been the cheap guy, and that's why we got the job.
Yeah.
It's a mistake. I wasn't right to do it. It was a mistake, many, many years ago. I also just kind of didn't know better. And talking about money is fucking weird, man. It's
awkward.
It's awkward. No matter what, Anthony, your bills are paid. So don't be afraid to say no. You know what I mean? It's a different beast when somebody's asking you to pay you half as much as you're worth and you don't know how you're going to make rent. I have nothing but sympathy for those people in that situation. Like, I get it. Do what you got to do. Even just asking, if you think your time is worth like, $4,500 and they have like $1,200 for you, just be like, hey, can you do 2? Just asking, just trying, and then think, and they're going to come back with no. But if you do take on these jobs where you're like, I know I'm not getting what I'm supposed to do, like, you have every right to bring the scope of work and the creative expectations down to this. You have every right. Like, okay, you want me to work for $1,200? That's fine. But we're only shooting 10 things and I'm giving you 20 images or whatever. Like, you have every right. Like, I'm not going to break my back for somebody, you know what I mean? I'm not going to bend over backwards. I'm not going to, we're not doing 6 different locations, around Manhattan. We're not doing that. You know what I mean? I'm going to set up my camera 2 times, and by the way, you're taking care of breakfast and lunch, that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So you have every right to do that just to make it more fair. It's kind of weird to say that because you still do a good job and you still care. But the people who meet your rate, the first time somebody books you for $7,500, Anthony, you're going to be like, oh shit, like they met my rate. They hired the producer I wanted. I get a tech and a couple of assistants. And that's the best thing. I've had to hire photographers, and the goal is to leave them no excuse. You have no excuse but to do your best work today. No excuse. I met your rate, more or less. You've got support. You've got me. And, I understand, like, you just no excuse. And so when somebody does be like, yeah, Anthony, cool, well, we can do $7,500 for one day or whatever, you feel like this really good stress, this really good pressure hit you, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to be awesome because you want to perform now. So you end up inherently emotionally being invested and like over delivering.
Right. That's great. So yeah.
Anyways, that's it. That's my 2 cents. Don't let the internet make you feel bad about pricing.
Oh God. Yeah.
It's hard.
I need to, that's something I really need to navigate. And I do personally have this safety net under me where I can charge what I feel is appropriate. There's no excuse for me. So yeah.
And this is another thing. This is a lesson I had to learn the hard way with a capital H. If somebody doesn't want to meet your rate or they can't meet your rate or whatever, they're always going to be like, oh, we can't do that. Like, yes, you can. But sometimes they can't. Don't take it personally. They're just trying to do their job. It's every client has it's called a fiduciary responsibility to get as much value and to stretch every dollar. So I get that. So divorce them from anything personal. And once you learn how to really not take it personal, you can be like, I can't do it for that much. I'm sorry. Like, they're not coming at you. Be like, look, the truth is, it's personal for me because it's your budget and it's my car payment. Do you know what I mean? Like, so this is like, you're kind of playing a game. Can we just go and I'll use this. JanSport is the best. If you ever have a chance, and they hire a lot of photographers and videographers, they are so great to work with because they're like, they don't play a game. They're veterans. They're a really good crew. They're like, hey, this is our budget. This is our budget. I'm sorry. I wish I could get you more, but I promise you this is our budget. I don't want to go back and forth. And usually the number is like, oh, that's actually not bad.
Pretty good. Yeah.
That's actually pretty good. I'm in, that kind of thing.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So
wow, that's good.
Yeah. So anyways, JanSport. And I say that because I want JanSport to attract the best artists and creatives to work with them, to partner with them, because they're such a down to earth company.
That's great. They got me through high school. They got me through. they were the best backpack, man. For real. Yeah. I'm not shitting around. Like, that's awesome. That's really cool.
Sorry, I know that was a long
tangent. Don't be sorry about that. Sorry.
But I wanted to talk about pricing, like the best of it and the worst of it, because it's always going to be a struggle. You just have to try. That's all it is. Just try. Just try to ask for more. Even if there's still a no, be like, hey, at least I tried. I hate this question, but I got to ask you, like, do you have a dream gig? Client? Or whatever.
It would be so cool to be a behind the scenes or BTS photographer on like a film set, a movie.
Who's the director?
Oof. Oh my God. That's a hard question. Oh no. I mean, it'd be ridiculous. Like, I'll shoot for the stars here. Anything, the Scorsese. Or like,
good answer.
Or like,
good answer.
Yeah, I just, I've seen.
That's a good answer. That's actually a really good answer.
Okay, cool. I'm glad. Cause I just, that would be, if I got there, I'd be just in my glory, because it's this perfect combination. And, I've always tried to bridge the gap between street photography and studio photography, finding the improvisation in studio that the street has. Whereas on a set like that, you have all the backdrop, you have the scene, and then you have those off moments of, a character or an actor not in character in that moment, they're themselves or something like that. And it brings out like a photo of that is just like them in their natural element, surrounded by 50s cars and like, people shouting out of the window and like just these crazy scenes. I just think that that's a dream, like that's a dream. Did you watch, there's a Fallout
Yeah,
series?
I saw the first few episodes. Very good.
Go look at the BTS like photos from that. It's a crime that I don't know the photographer, but they shot, I think, 6x6 medium format.
No shit.
And it's just the actors just like, oh my God, it's gorgeous photography.
Jojo Wilden. No,
okay.
Jojo BTS for Fallout Prime. Jesus, these are gorgeous.
There's
Jojo Wilden.
Jojo, yes. If you go on their Instagram, their most recent post, it's the main actress like standing there covered in blood, just in front of like in this wasteland.
Yeah,
just exhausted.
Dude, and what a gig!
Like that's just
what a gig.
And what I could go on forever talking about that.
Yeah. I don't know. You got anything you want to ask me?
I mean, because I witnessed firsthand your dialogue and your connection to models when you're shooting with them. And I'm just so curious how you got to that level of comfortability and, or found your way into that, because I'm guilty of, me personally, sometimes hiding behind my camera and just like letting them do their thing when I should be, coach, this is a collaborative thing. It's not just one-on-one. How did you establish that for yourself? How did you find that? That's a big question. So
thanks for saying that. I appreciate that. I get that compliment sometimes, and I don't know what people are talking about, to be honest.
There's an ease to it for you. It seems.
I learned what not to do. You hear all the time online of like, oh, I just need I got to build a rapport with the model. I need my time to build a rapport, which is true, but you really just need a couple minutes. It's really a vibe check. A professional model shows up, goes right to hair and makeup, and he or she, they'll see you later. Sometimes they'll introduce themselves, which is great, and whatnot. But if you're usually I'm with a crew and we're, putting a set together or something like that, or we're going over the day shot list. But a model just kind of shows up, does their thing, because this is the number one key. It's just a job, right? It's just a job. I've learned that from actually models, that it's just a job, and you're executing, but you're also kind of performing at the same time. But that's all to say, it's a people thing. Do a vibe check. Be comfortable giving them instruction. Think of yourself as like a coach. When you're behind the camera, you're just coaching.
Yeah.
You can call it art directing or directing, but you're kind of just coaching, but you've probably gone over the direction enough with the model and everybody else on set. They kind of already know what to do, and you should just be doing little tweaks. And you'll just see something like, oh, wait, try this, or can we try this, or whatever. You'll get ideas, and that's fine. That's great. I stopped being intimidated, because it is intimidating. I stopped being intimidated giving art direction when I realized it's just a job. Everybody wants to do the best job possible. They want to make the client happy. There are some models who don't want direction. They don't want to hear it. And they may not say it, but you kind of have to pick up on it. But if I see, even with them, if I see something, I'm like, oh, wait, if I can just turn them this way and this way, this will be a banger. If you see something, go for it. Tell them exactly what you want. But you also can't be the only one responsible with giving direction. It's you and the model, and ideally one other person. It can't all fall, because if it all falls on my shoulders, especially with a lifestyle shoot, oh man, forget it. It's a ton of work, and it's like two different parts of your brain. Does that help at all? Does that help?
100% that helps. Yeah, no, I think I could take that, just the vibe check and having read the room
read the room. When they show up in the morning, just be like, hey, how you doing? I'm Anthony. Nice to meet you. I kind of have my hands full, but I just want to introduce myself before the day got away. It's like, I'm so glad you're here. And they're like, oh, great, thanks. I'm happy to be here, blah, blah. And that's all you need to do.
All you need. That's awesome.
And they'll be like, boom, professional. They're not trying to hang out, whatever.
Yeah.
Here's another way you get good at giving direction. You begin to identify the shit you don't want to see ever again. And so, especially with a newer female model who maybe they haven't done a whole lot of work before. I mean, you gotta get started somewhere, but they always do this hands up thing. They always just do way too. I'm like, I need you here. You know what I mean? I'll tell you what's up. Just, we're selling rectangles. This doesn't fit in the rectangle. There are good versions of that pose. Don't get me wrong.
Sure. But that's the go-to for some reason.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I mean, it's because they're inspired by editorials in magazines.
Sure.
And there's a lot of that stuff, which is great, but it just doesn't look the same yet. You still got to get it down. Posing is a skill. You begin to identify what you don't want, and then you can start from there. I don't want that. I don't like this. No, I don't do that. Oh, it looks weird. Your elbow's kind of hidden. A lot of times the elbow's hidden behind them, so it looks like they're amputated. Now bring the elbow out a little bit, that kind of stuff. Start there. Thank you for doing this, Anthony.
Yeah, no, happy to.
We'll do it again. If you got
I'm
more
excited.
questions, we'll do it again.
Oh, totally do. All right. I love this. This is great.
What's your Instagram handle?
Sure, it's just my name, Anthony Ieradi. So ANTHONY IERADI.
Cool. Thank you so much. I'm going to say goodbye. Goodbye, everybody.
Yes.
Okay, that was the first episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, this is the first attempt at doing this. I very much want to hear from you. I want to know what topics and what questions and what challenges you're facing as a freelancer, photographer, videographer, whomever, or if you're somebody who works with photographers and have encountered challenges on that side of the table too. I want this to be a two-way conversation, so please message me. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. All my information will be down below. And yeah, let me know what you think, what you're into, and what questions you have. Talk soon.